From Lagos, Nigeria, this is News Central. I'm Felicity Ezewike. Top stories tonight. Southeast Caucus stages walkout as Senate rejects motion to immortalize NEC chairman, late Professor Humphrey Nwosu. President Tinubu hosts John Mahama in first official visit since his inauguration as Ghana's president. European leaders move to sustain peace deal in Ukraine as they throw weight behind warring nation.
In business, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announces it is in the final stages of preparing for its listing on the capital market. And in sport, all is set for the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup qualifiers in Lagos.
Thank you for joining us. We begin tonight in the Upper Legislative Chamber, where there was a mild scene during plenary. Lawmakers from the Southeast staged a walkout in protest. This followed the rejection of a motion to honor the late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, former chairman of the National Electoral Commission, who conducted the widely acclaimed June 12, 1993 election. The lawmakers who sponsored the motion urged the current administration to immortalize Nwosu, citing his significant contribution to Nigeria's democratic journey.
They say to whom much is given, much is expected. A professor of political science heading INEC could not deliver result. That is how you can assess him. It doesn't matter whether the circumstances were positive or not. If it were not positive for him to do so, he would have resigned. He didn't resign, which means he stood out to do the job. So on that score, he did not succeed.
Mr. President, I want to draw your attention to what happened on June 10. We are talking about June 12. Justice Ibeme, as early as 9:30 on June 10th, said there will be no election. And Professor Humphrey Nwosu tried to reach the head of state. He couldn't reach him. He couldn't reach the Attorney General. And there was an emergency meeting of National Defense and Security Council, which Professor Humphrey Nwosu audaciously attended uninvited and told them that the materials have been sent out and that he was ready for the election. Uninvited in the military council, he went there. That is courage of the highest order. And it was after he spoke that President Babangida have no choice than to ask him to conduct the election.
Mr. President, many of my colleagues have stood up here and said he conducted the free and fairest election. There are three different meanings and three different interpretations that we should look at: conducting election, releasing results, and announcing results. Yes, he conducted the results, the election. Yes, School of Thought said he releases all the results. But you and I know releasing results is not the same thing as announcing results. He failed
as a June 12 warrior, and therefore all the elements that make up June 12, including the conduct of the election. And like we said, if there was no election, there would have been no June 12. So we can also use this opportunity that we're here addressing you to appeal to the government of President Bola Tinubu to honor the man who made sure that that election held, despite that it was done, and put elections in the consciousness of Nigerians, because that election was what led everybody else to now be doing subsequent elections. Thank you. He was a member, and he also participated fully in that election. So let him make it. In that election, so let him make it.
Well, I just want to recall that without Professor sagacity and courage, that election would have been. We are all aware that Justice Ibeme said that there will be no election. By 9:30 in the morning on June 10th, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, audaciously without invitation, went to the National Defense and Security Council and insisted and convinced them that the election process has commenced. That was why President Babangida allowed him to conduct the election. And if anybody is saying that he did not announce the result, the person is lying because the results were being announced. In fact, they have announced 29. It was remaining.
Dele Momodu is chairman and publisher of Ovation International, a politician and a close ally of the late MKO Abiola, the acclaimed winner of June 12, 1993 presidential election. He joins me now on the news. Good to have you, Chief. Just before we go on, could you clarify where you're joining us from?
I'm joining from Victoria Land, Lagos.
All right. So Deputy Senate President says the matter of honoring Professor Wosu is controversial. He said some people see him as one of those who truncated the June 12 election, while others say he was a hero of democracy. You were a very strong player during this time, working with MKO Abiola. Where do you align here? Honor or a minute's silence?
You see, I am quite embarrassed about the present Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I can see that a lot of people, maybe they were too young and so do not have that sense of history. But the truth is that Professor Wosu did the job requested of him, and he did it creditably well. It was not his duty to annul or not to annul. It was to organize an election. And that election was adjudged the best, the fairest in the history of Nigeria. So I wonder what exactly these senators who are opposing him being, honored, I wonder what they want him to do or what he could have done that he did not do. The reason why everybody is talking about June 12 today and saying that Abiola won was because there was an election in the first instance. So, but I see a lot of ignorance flying around the Senate. The same people criticizing Professor Wosu, he did not do this, he did not declare the result, he did not do that. There are people who cannot even hold government accountable today. They are asking Wosu to do what he could not have done. And this was under a military regime. In a civilian regime, we have these people who are talking here, or rubber stamping. Anything Tinubu says, they will rubber stamp it. The same people have the effrontery to criticize someone who did his job very well.
No, I guess you align with what the current INEC chairman has said, Babudi Yakubu. He said that he confirms what you said, that Wosu conducted elections in an extremely challenging contest. But there's something else he said, that it was an oversight that the prof was not honored in his lifetime. So looking at what is playing out, what would be the right kind of honor for the role played by Wosu in the June 12 story? Because the senators don't seem to agree on what move to take.
I will repeat what I said just now, that I can see a lot of ignorance flying around. It is only someone who are ignorant about what happened in 1993 that would want to rob Wosu of his due recognition. The man did a great job, and I wish that the present INEC would emulate him and do a great job and stand by it. He stood by it throughout his life. He stood by it. And he said it clearly that MKO Abiola won that election. No, and it's not in dispute. Today, every election in Nigeria is in dispute. Every election must end up in a law court.
Yeah, I was leaning more. I was leaning more towards you pointing the lawmakers in the right direction, asking. There were a couple of requests from the lawmakers who were pushing for posthumous honors for Wosu. I think it included putting his name, naming the Abuja INEC office after him, giving him a national title. So I'm just asking, based on what you know, if you could maybe suggest what would be an appropriate honor for a man who conducted the June 12 election, which has now given us Democracy Day, a different Democracy Day from October 9. I mean, October 1.
No, why would I recommend what they should do for him when they are not even agreeing that he did anything? My job here is to say that this man deserves to be honored. Whatever they decide to do thereafter, that is their own business. The thing is that they must first accept that the man performed and he was one of the best we ever had in the electoral history of Nigeria. But in a situation where people are arguing ignorantly of the fact that the man performed and did a good job, and they should commend and recommend him for recognition, and they should also wish that the present INEC would emulate what Onfinwosu did. That is all that I'm interested in. Whether they now name the INEC building after him, they name streets after him, whatever it is, the first thing is let us give him his due honor that the man did very well. And he deserves to be honored. That's all.
All right, let me bring up another issue that came up at the Senate. Senator Afolabi Salisu is all reported that immortalizing Wosu would undermine the memory of MKO Abiola. I'm asking you this question because of your relationship with the legend. He's advocating nothing more than a 1-minute silence for the professor, which was the prayer that the Senate actually granted. What would be your response to this claim by the senator that honoring Wosu will be disrespecting MKO Abiola?
Wosu had nothing to do with the annulment. He was not the head of state. He was not the president. He was not the commander-in-chief. His job was limited to conducting a free and fair election, and he delivered spectacularly. Against all odds, there were people who didn't want election to hold. The man went ahead. You remember Chief Actor Nzeribe, you remember Otumba Abimbola Davis, and all of them. They didn't want it, but this man still went ahead and delivered spectacularly. For the first time, there was no issue of religion, there was no issue of ethnicity. Chief Abiola won, and everybody knew the results, even though the military refused to release the result. That was not his fault. That had nothing to do with him. So it is ignorant of anyone to start arguing. I see people participating today in the Senate. These are people who today cannot even challenge the status quo. They cannot even query the president when he is doing wrong, when he has, made any wrong decision. The same people are expecting Nwosu to afford the military who had all the guns on his neck. That's very unfortunate.
All right. One author, there's been a lot of publication on this subject since it started. One author has described the professor, slated for burial tomorrow, by the way, as an eminently unsung hero in the June 12 story. Do you share this view? Do you think that, he will remain unsung going by what is playing out today? Or there's a possibility that in the future, he will get the honor he deserves based on the calls to the president?
I don't think this set of senators who are arguing against him being honored should even now go ahead to do it. Because a man of honor deserves honor from people of honor and people who know the meaning of what it is to have integrity. Everybody is embarrassed today about what is going on in Nigeria, and we expect that, okay, when the executive is fumbling, the legislature will rise up to the occasion. And when the legislature is fumbling, the judiciary will rise up to the occasion. But what do we have today? Things are no longer at ease and things are falling apart. So my own opinion is that it does not matter whether they agree to honor Nwosu or not. God has already honored him, and that's why we are talking about him. If he did not perform, there will be nobody here wasting his time to talk about him. But in Nigeria, even sometimes in death, people can still envy you. And I believe some people Number one, out of ignorance, can never appreciate what is good in other people. It takes greatness to recognize greatness in other people. And I believe that Onfiwosu has already earned his greatness on earth. It does not matter if gods with feet of clay would honor him or not. They are playing God in the Senate, in the National Assembly, and we see it every day. They are unraveling every day, and we're all very embarrassed that our senators cannot understand that the man who was given a job did his own job. If others did not do their own, that is not his fault. The man who annulled the election has admitted that he made a mistake, and that's President Mahama. He acknowledged it. He did not say who told him not to reduce it. So I don't understand what the argument is all about. It's so embarrassing.
All right, would you add your voice to the call to the president to, I mean, at the end of the day, he's still the one that will make the decision as to who he wants to honor. Would you add your voice to the call for the president to do something about honoring Professor Owusu?
No, I don't have to add any voice because in Nigeria, we have all become voiceless. So it's their business to do it. If they don't do it, someone else will do it. It's even embarrassing that it took President Mahama to honor Abiola himself. So if those who fought for the revalidation of the June 12 results are in power today and they are still arguing, their cronies are the ones arguing blindly in the Senate and saying the man cannot be honored, then it makes no difference. So it's up to the president to do whatever he wishes. He has the power to do it. But he may decide to listen to his cronies who are fighting in the Senate that someone should not be honored after he had delivered on his job.
All right, Chief, thank you very much for speaking with us. We appreciate your time on the news.
Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Nigerian President Bola Tinubu is currently playing host to Ghana's President John Mahama at the presidential villa in Abuja. It is President Mahama's first official visit to Nigeria since his inauguration on January 7, 2025. Both leaders are expected to discuss ways to strengthen diplomatic relations between their countries, focusing on trade, regional security, and economic cooperation. They will also address regional development within the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, aiming to promote stability and democratic governance. Coming up, more bills pass second reading in a week of constitution amendment by the House of Representatives. We'll tell you more when we come back. Stay with us. You're watching tonight on News Central. A reminder of our top stories. Southeast Caucus stages workout as Senate rejects motion to immortalize NEC chairman, late Professor Humphrey Nwosu. Protesting students of Federal College of Education, Asaba, demand end to long-standing attacks on their dormitories. And European leaders move to sustain peace deal in Ukraine as they throw weight behind warring nation. Now, let's tell you that the House of Representatives has withdrawn the second reading of a bill seeking to strip the immunity conferred on the President, Vice President, governors, and their deputies. The bill aims to curb corruption and enhance accountability. Also rescinded was a bill seeking to review penalties for certain capital offenses in alignment with relevant international best practices. The Deputy Speaker, who presided over plenary, stated that the decision was made to allow lawmakers and other stakeholders to provide further input. The push for constitutional reforms in Nigeria has continued to gain momentum in the House of Representatives as lawmakers passed 30 more amendment bills, bringing the total number of bills that have passed the second reading to 112. These proposed changes address inclusive governance, judicial and electoral reforms, devolution of power, and the creation of new states and local governments. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has details.
Suspend the Dramani rule.
In a move to fast-track the constitutional review process, the House of Representatives invoked Order 8, Rule 7 Sub 2 of its standing orders, suspending normal legislative procedures to accommodate all constitutional amendment bills. The newly passed 30 amendment bills introduced sweeping changes, including a proposal to establish the office of the Prime Minister as head of government, while the President retains the role of the head of states.
A bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to provide for the office of the Prime Minister as head of government and the office of the President as head of state to provide for a framework for the mode of election to the said offices and for related matters. Second reading.
Another significant bill seeks to redefine the status of the Federal Capital Territory in relation to presidential elections. Also, a bill advocating for the creation of new states in the North Central and Northwestern regions, as well as additional local government areas in Abia, Enugu, Delta, Imo, and Zamfara states.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to make provisions for the creation of Ugueben local government area in Delta State and for related matters. Second reading.
Among other amendments, electoral reforms took center stage, with lawmakers supporting a bill to reduce the time frame for determining pre-election petition matters. According to lawmakers, the proposed law will establish pre-election tribunal to streamline the resolution of disputes before inauguration day.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to reduce the lengthy period of determination of pre-election petition matters and provide for the establishment of pre-election tribunals and pre-election matters and regulate the process of suspending a member of the National Assembly from legislative duties and for related matters. Second reading.
Those against say name. The ayes have it.
With the constitutional review process advancing steadily, these amendments will now undergo further scrutiny by the House Committee on Constitutional Review before moving to the next legislative stage. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
In the meantime, a bill seeking to amend the 1999 Constitution to transfer control of natural resources, including oil fields, minerals, and natural gas, from the federal government to states, has also scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The proposed legislation aims to restructure Nigeria's resource governance framework, granting states greater autonomy over the exploration, management, and revenue generation of natural assets within their jurisdictions. Currently, certain natural resources such as mines, minerals, oil field, oil mining activities, geological surveys, and natural gas are managed solely by the federal government. They are on what is called the exclusive legislative list, meaning only the federal government makes laws and decisions about them. If the bill becomes law, it could mean states can issue mining and oil exploration licenses, regulate resource extraction, and collect revenues independently of the federal government. Let's get some perspective. My guest tonight is Balazaka, a petroleum engineer. He joins me to speak on the resource control bill as being considered by the House. Thank you for giving us your time tonight. Analysts say it's a good bill. If passed, it would move us closer to restructuring. But this is not the first time a similar bill was before the House. In 2016, when a similar bill was presented, it did not go past the second reading. What are the chances that the outcome will be different this time?
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. But first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Just the way I 100% kick against the removal of subsidy on petroleum products, and I gave analysis with chronologies of how we remove the subsidy on the price of kerosene, then we got to diesel, then we got to aviation fuel, and finally on petrol, and how we saw how everything led to the collapse of our economy, and how it grounded everything to the cliff edge, and today the economy is in the valley. I want to tell you, as a practicing petroleum engineer, with my experience in everything that has to do with mining, whether you talk about solid minerals or crude oil and gas, that will be one of the biggest mistakes we are going to make at this level of Nigeria's maturity. When I will tell you this, and I will tell you practically, not because of any political interest or sectarian interest or sectional interest, but looking at the fragility of the level at which Nigeria is operating today as an emerging economy. Anybody who tells you that that will bring succor, that will bring peace, that will bring development, that person has not thought through. I will have ordinarily said that person is lying. Because it's the same thing when we were talking about the chronology and we were advising that subsidy should not be removed. But we saw it, it was removed, the Naira was floated. We are fortunate that the Naira was not even redenominated. And we are still seeing the effect. I am a practitioner in the oil and gas industry till this moment. We still have IOCs that we technically call international oil companies. They have their contract agreements. We know the kind of volatility that exists when you talk about oil exploration and campaign areas. And we know the kind of criminality and vandalism and banditry that exists where we have solid minerals. It is 10 times better, safer, cheaper, and justifiable now that it is under the control of the federal government of Nigeria. But moving into the future, it's possible that something like that can be considered. But at this moment, it will be the biggest mistake these current leaders will make.
So you just to be clear, you would rather that the House throws away this bill and we should continue with the federal government being in charge because it is safer, better,
cheaper, and more reassuring. In fact, it should be thrown into the dustbin. I'm telling you this because as a practitioner, I know how volatile these areas are where you have mining, whether you talk about solid minerals or you talk about crude oil and gas. The level of maturity, the level of understanding, the level of unity of communities, whether where you have solid minerals or where you have crude oil and gas, has not matured to the point where this can be left into their care. And anybody who tells you that giving it into their hands will make them to manage it better, I'm telling you, you are going to see worse. I know what I'm talking about. I have records, I have data, and I'm talking from practical point.
All right, we'll have to leave it there and pick up another time. Thank you so much, Mr. Zaka, for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Students of tertiary schools in Ondo State on Thursday took to the streets of the capital Akure to press home their displeasure with what they described as a surge in abduction and crime in the state. Led by Rotimi Joshua, the Southwest chairman of the National Association of Nigerian Students, the protest blocked major roads and disrupted traffic for several hours, accusing Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa of failing to prioritize their safety. They criticized the government's handling of student welfare, citing poor conditions in tertiary institutions, and demanded urgent government intervention to tackle insecurity. The protesters expressed concern about lack of student-friendly policies, particularly for those undergoing the industrial work experience. Sources say Ondo State Commissioner of Police Wilfred Alabi was reportedly resisted by the students when he attempted to disperse them. Staying with security matters, students of the Federal College of Education Technical in Asaba, the Delta State capital, have staged a peaceful protest within the college premises over recurring attacks by gunmen and other security challenges. They displayed placards with varied inscriptions barricading the college entrance and exit, which consequently disrupted academic activities for hours. Viewer discretion is strongly advised in the reports being presented now by my colleague, Austin Azu.
The Federal College of Education, Technical, Asaba, Delta State Capital, witnessed a temporary shutdown of academic activities for hours. Our students, carrying various placards with different inscriptions, locked the entrance gates to protest the incessant attacks by suspected herdsmen, among other security challenges.
They're protesting because there is lack of security in this school. There is no street lights. Even the hostel they built new in this school is Fulani that are sleeping inside the hostel. It's outside people that are sleeping inside the hostel. Like yesterday, students were attacked when coming back from outside the school inside the hostel. And one boy, they wanted to cut the girl's neck, and the boy now used his hand to save the girl's neck, and they machete that guy's hand. They're ripping our girls in this school. They're stealing from us. We're no longer safe in this school. We're no longer safe. We don't have security. No lights. No fence. As of yesterday, we had an attack in this school. And this year alone, we've had series of attacks. We've already told the school about it. Nothing has been done about it. They keep telling us that they will get back to us. Even to the extent they told us that there is no evidence to what we've been saying. So please, they should give us street lights, fence, and they should give us our clinics are not even functioning at all. Then we need security.
Victor Ogo shared his traumatic experience.
I was ambushed while coming back from work yesterday night by some Fulani men in my own school. We were just passing the field though. We just wanted to come out from that field side, the back of the building. The guys just came out, 3 of them with sharp cutlass. They held me by my bag. I could not run. They just stood by the girl, telling the girl, give me your phone, give me your phone, give me your phone. She said she does not have phone, she does not have phone. I was trying to tell the guy, bro, relax now, let's talk this thing out. He just swing the cutlass to my leg. I used my hand to block it. That was how.
Joining me now for more insights into this story is Professor Josephine Anene Okakwa. She is the Provost of the Federal College of Education, Technical, Asaba. Thank you very much for joining us. We didn't quite finish that report, but a lot of accusations was put forward against the school by the students. Please talk to us about the response that the school is giving to the complaints put forward, without highlighting specifics now, just letting you go.
Okay, thank you very much. You see, when things happen like this, you hear a lot of stories, and out of anger, they can say anything, you know, and some of the allegations are not true. Even when you go to the school now, you will find out that they are not true. The school was fenced around. The land grabbers, a notorious one, Uweshofili Modi, came towards the early last year and started pulling down our fence and started selling our land. And I reported to Federal Ministry of Education. I copied DSS, I copied EFCC, I copied ICPC, I copied Secretary to the State Government, I copied Chief of Staff, I copied the Governor. I wrote to the Governor, and the Governor took action immediately and constituted a task force to come to my college to demolish whatever they did there. But up till now, nothing. We wrote petition to Inspector General of Police. I wrote to Inspector General of Police, and they started their investigation. At the point they were to send to their legal department, we didn't hear from them again. We relaxed and was waiting for them. And communication was going between the college and the ministry. Early this year again, I think in November, the people he sold the land to took him to EFCC because we refused that.
All right, Prof, sorry to interject because
government land.
Prof, we're time constrained. We're time constrained. So I wanted to be specific. You're talking about efforts that is being made to, make sure issues are addressed. But there were clear.
We have made efforts. The street lights, we have lights. We are replacing even the street lights with solar lights. If you come to the compound now, you will see.
So what about the comments about outsiders living in the hostel and allegations of rape. Have they officially brought it to your notice? Is it something that the school is aware of?
There has never been incidents of rape. No, there has never been. No, I disagree with that one. There has never been incidents of rape. But I know that these herdsmen, because of the herdsmen, they come in to there's no fence now. Everywhere is porous now. That is true, because the young man demolished and destroyed our fence, and they come in anyhow now. And we have been addressing that issue. And once we see them, we call for their security, their head, to control them. They will take them out. Once they take them out, they will come in again. And we have been managing them so that they don't attack these students. You understand?
So is there a timeline? Is there a timeline from the government or your management?
They are doing it, yes. Even I wrote for fence, I wrote to Tech Fund, I wrote, and they have awarded. We are waiting for them to give us. We are not waiting for the man. We are waiting for the allocation letter. In fact, I held a meeting with them. Nance were around yesterday. All the executives that were around. The special advisor to Governor Sheriff was around. We held a meeting, and I narrated everything to them. In fact, they started. They appreciated me, and they pleaded with me. You understand that? I said they are my children. I shouldn't victimize. I said no. The students are right. Nobody, even if you want to hurt anybody, you have to cry.
All right, I'm told we're out of time for this.
They were inside the compound and demonstrating, you understand?
Prof, I'm sorry to keep interjecting. I'm told we are out of time for this conversation, but I want you to quickly respond to this. You seem to say that your management and the government, they are doing everything to address the concerns that the students are raising. I mean, you are working on it. So what would you attribute this protest to? There must be something that the students are talking about in all these protests. Is there nothing valid?
There is. There are. Let me tell you, when you are doing things as a leader, you don't begin to sing on the street. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But actions are being taken. If you want, you can come to the college. We will show you with documents. I showed the NANS yesterday with documents, with evidences. They were shocked. We don't play with our students at all. We don't at all play with our students. They know. And that is why they stayed by the gate. If not, if we were hostile to our students, it will not be this way they are doing it. You understand? All
right, Prof. We certainly hope that these things are resolved, especially the security issue for the students. Thank you very much for your time. To the foreign scene now, European leaders have reaffirmed their long-term support for Ukraine. They made the pledge during a summit in Paris on Thursday, though little progress was made on defining their role in providing security guarantees if a peace deal is reached with Russia. As part of this commitment, European countries agreed to intensify rather than lift sanctions on Russia in response to its ongoing war against Ukraine. While tentative progress on a ceasefire has been reported by the U.S., a peace deal still appears distant. Despite this, European leaders are taking steps to outline how they might help safeguard peace post-war. Chairman is here with some business news for us. Chairman, what is the headline?
Oh, there's so much going on in the business world today. What can I say? NNPC is right there in the forefront once again. But let's not dilly-dally. Let's go straight into it. Thank you so much, Felicity.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
All right, thank you so much. We're back. And state-owned Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited appears to be in the final stages of preparing for an initial public offering. This is according to a statement from Chief Finance and Investor Relations Officer Olugbenga Oluwani on Thursday. While no specific timeline for the IPO was provided, Oluwani confirmed that NNPC is engaging with potential investor relations executives and investment banks in accordance with capital market regulations and the Petroleum Industry Act. Although no press statement has been cited, this is widely reported in local and international media. South African Reserve Bank Governor Leseja Kganyago has stated that the nation's 3% to 6% inflation target is overdue for a review and should be lowered. Speaking at the SARB Biannual Research Conference in Cape Town on Thursday, Kganyago suggested that the current inflation targeting regime may be outdated, inhibiting faster growth and reducing the economy's competitiveness. Under Kganyago's tenure, the SARB has focused its monetary policy on keeping inflation at the midpoint of 4.5% and argued it should be lowered to 3%. While acknowledging the framework's role in lowering interest rates and reducing macroeconomic volatility, he emphasized the need for a fresh approach aligned with other developing economies to better support South Africa's economic development. Now, the bears took control as the all-share index closed in the red for the second consecutive session this week. Now, let's take a look at the snapshots. All right, so the all-share index closed at 105,426.12 points, dropping by 0.05%, and the market cap closed at 66.1 trillion naira. So let's move on to the sectoral performances. Let's see what's going on here. Now, in banking, there is a drop of 0.96%, and insurance went up by 0.09%, and oil and gas dropped by 0.35%. Consumer goods dropped by 0.2%, and industrial goods dropped by 0.01%. All right, so that does it for business news tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Chamun Dabeng, and we'll be right back after the break, coming up with sports.
A sports update. Onyinyechi is here. Onyi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Felicity. We've got cricket in the news, and Lagos, Nigeria is about to host the continent. All right, for that World Cup qualifiers, under 19 men's World Cup qualifiers. I'll tell you more shortly.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
And in sports, 6 nations are set to battle for the sole continental tickets at the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup. The African qualifiers slated for 28 March to 6 April 2025. Kenya, Namibia, Uganda, Tanzania, Sierra Leone, and hosts Nigeria. They will face off in the round-robin tournament, which will be held Cricket Oval at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos, as well as the University of Lagos at Koka. The 6 countries emerged from 3 sub-regional qualifiers for the last leg of the road to the ICC Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup in 2026, which will be jointly hosted by Zimbabwe and Namibia. Nigeria's Under-19 men's captain, Gafar Karim, he admitted that while Nigeria is not regarded as favorites, he and his team were greatly inspired by the performance of Nigeria's Under-19 women's cricket team at the World Cup in Malaysia, and also will work hard to win the sole ticket. Suleiman Mojereola's 73rd minute goal stunned the home crowd as visiting Plateau United, they edged Rangers International in a tightly contested Nigeria Premier Football League match at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. Rangers had dominated the match only to succumb to a goal scored by rare Plateau United attack. In Maiduguri, Shooting Stars threw away a 2-goal lead from goals scored in the first half, only to be forced to a 2-2 draw against El Kanami Warriors in Uyo. An own goal from Ifeanyi Okoye and a 69-minute goal from striker Mare Abson gave Aqua United a valuable 3-point in their quest to escape relegation, while league leaders Remo Stars maintain their 8-point lead at the top of the table thanks to a goal from each half from Olamilekan Adedayo and Samson Olashupo. As the Sky Blues, they condemned the 9-time champions Aimba to an 8th defeat of the season. There are 8 more matches still remaining in the ongoing Nigeria Premier Football League this season. Good news for Arsenal fans. Arsenal winger Bukayo Saka is back in training on the grass at London as he enters the final stages of his recovery from a hamstring injury. The 23-year-old is yet to take the field in 2025 due to a severe issue which he sustained in a 5-1 Premier League crushing of Crystal Palace in mid-December. Saka needed surgery to correct the most serious injury in his career so far. But Mikel Arteta recently claimed that the Englishman had a good chance of coming back after the international. Of course, reports subsequently claimed that Saka was targeting the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final with Real Madrid for a possible comeback, as well as eyeing a spot on the bench for earlier Premier League games with Everton and Fulham. Arsenal fans have received a massive boost after pictures were released of the player in training outside on Thursday afternoon.
Time for the latest entertainment news. Copyright issues seems to be making headlines. Adewo.
It seems that we don't get to enjoy entertainment anymore, aside from court issues, this and that, back and forth.
When money is involved.
Well, that's true. When money is involved, you have to be careful. But I'll bring you all the details shortly.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
All right, on entertainment. Now, Lady Gaga is being sued for $100 million by soft brand Lost International over allegedly a copyright infringement related to her latest album, Mayhem. Now, the company claims that the album's branding closely resembles their Mayhem softboard and sportswear logo, which they've held the trademark for since 2015. Now, Lost International alleged that Gaga unlawfully used their trademark in her album tour and merchandise. Now, Gaga's attorney, Oren Snyder, dismissed the lawsuit as without merit, calling it an unopportunistic attempt to exploit her success. He emphasized that Gaga's Mayhem album has broken records and proven her global impact. As the case unfolds, the legal battle could turn into a high-profile dispute over branding rights, though it remains unclear whether the lawsuit will hold any legal weight because, hey, it's just pictures and pictures. So, Felicity, what do you think? It's just a picture that these guys claim that there's a similarity somewhere. You know, they have this softboard. They also have Mayhem written on it. Lady Gaga has this on her new album, Mayhem, as well. So
I guess he who alleges will prove. That's what the law says now. So if they can prove their case, of course they win. If they can't, they go rest. It's as simple as that, I guess.
But what baffles me is the way they throw around numbers. $100 million.
Oga, na money matao.
It's well. All right. Well, that's all on entertainment tonight.
That's the news we have for you tonight. But before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories. Southeast Caucus stages workout as Senate rejects motion to immortalize NEC chairman, late Professor Humphrey Nwosu. President Tinubu hosts John Mahama in first official visit since his inauguration as Ghana's president. We also brought you news that European leaders have moved to sustain peace deal in Ukraine as they throw their weight behind warring nation. Would like to hear from you. Please send your eyewitness report to the number showing now on your screen. You can follow us on all social media platforms at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Apple TV, and on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night.